I apologize. Got it. Thank you.
That was a good interruption. Mm. I thought I'd just let you know what my background is as far as me and myself and Israel. So if you haven't noticed, I am related to Fran. She's my sister-in-law. And Gary, my husband, was Alan's brother. I think he still is. And so we were Bennett in America, and now we're Bennett.
I love
And Gary decided I wasn't into my feminist awareness so in 1968 so much. Otherwise, I would be Bat-et, which means, because this means son of a time, and I would be daughter of a time. But this is Bennett is good enough. Actually, I came to Israel the very first time when I was just about 3 years old. My parents made Aliyah, myself and my older brother, and we stayed in Israel for 6 years. And then when I was just about 9, I went back to Philadelphia. I was born in Washington, D.C., but we went back to Philadelphia, and that's where I grew up, in Logan, in case any of you are from Philadelphia. And then in the I joined Habronim, and in 1968, Gary and I and around 18 more people, we came as a group, an organized group, to create an urban collective in Carmiel, like a kibbutz in the city. And then in 1973, the group dissolved, and Gary and I and our 2 children that were born in Israel, Doron and Avital, Doron a boy, Avital a girl, we moved to Kibbutz Bet HaEmek, and we've been there ever since. And in the meantime, a few years after we got there, Itamar, our 3rd son, was born. Or our 2nd son, but our 3rd child. So that's my that's my history with Israel and America. I have an MA in dance therapy that I got in when I was on the shlichut, which is, I don't know what it is in English, but we lived in America for 3 years, in 81 to 84. And I got from Pratt Institute of Technology, I got my MA in dance movement therapy. And in Israel, I worked with children as dance movement. And now I had, as I said, 2 sons and a daughter. And of those three gave me and Gary 10 grandchildren, 5 granddaughters and 5 grandchildren. We're equal. Yeah. Okay. And so today I was asked, as I understood, to also talk about the group, the Jewish Arab women's group that I belong to, and also what's happening in Israel a little bit. Okay. So I will start. I'll bring up a PowerPoint and work with that. Hi, Davina. Okay. So you can see it? All right. So this is our logo. We had actually one of our meetings working on it. We got many meetings, but just to give you a short background about our group, when it started, 1 minute. Okay, yeah. In the in 2000 in July or something like that, 2014, there was another Israeli-Gaza confrontation with rockets coming down on us and Israel doing its thing to Gaza. And what was happening is that in Israel, while we were in this state of war, there was there was like it's happening now, there was an incitement against the Israeli Arabs, the general Jewish population, finding all sorts of reasons to come down on Israeli Arabs, and because I had um, experience with being an Israeli Jewish, a Jewish Arab women's group since 1987, I initiated looking for women, the women that I've already had groups with, and looking for more women that we should start a group of Jews and Arabs so that they will, so that the Jews that don't know and don't have any connection with Arabs can get together and dehumanize, not take off see them as humans, not as demons. So we formed a grassroots group, and this is the first meeting after looking around and sending out flyers and connecting to people, and this is the women that arrived, and we decided that they wanted to get to know each other. The basis was a social, not a social gathering, but a social in that getting to know people as people, not on political level, but as neighbors. Because this was happening in the Western Galilee, where I live and where all these women live. And the Western Galilee, the population is 50% Jews and 50% Arabs. So it was it was a good place to do it. And we set up the schedule of when we're going to meet based on based on experiences that I had, and other women that were with me throughout the groups. This was the third group I had initiated. So based on the other two, that we should meet every 2 weeks, not once a week, it's too much, not once a month, it's too far apart, but every 2 weeks, it gives enough time to breathe and to do things. And we found the time, actually, the very first group that I initiated, which was back in 1987, when my 16-year-old daughter, her youth group, the group in the kibbutz, met with other 16-year-olds from the Kfar Yasif, which is a neighboring town, which is less than a mile away. And so when we women, the mothers, got together to meet each other, most of us were kibbutz. The Jewish women were kibbutzikim, and we were used to 8 o'clock in the evening to 10 o'clock was the time to meet. And for them, that was like impossible. And they wanted to meet from 4 o'clock to 6. So we came to a meeting point of meeting from 6 to 8. And so we understood, we learned, we Jewish women learned that even the times are different in the different cultures. So by 2015, we were already used to that the timing has to be much earlier than we thought it would be. So we agreed on a meeting from 6 to 8 or or from 5:30 to 7:30, something like that. And that's the way we did it every 2 weeks, except for the holidays. And now we have 3 holidays: Jewish, Arab, Muslim, and Christian. And sometimes even 4, because the Christians are Greek Orthodox and Catholics, and the Greek Orthodox are their holidays are like an echo away, 2 weeks echo from the dates of the Catholics. So we learned how to deal with it, and we had enough time. And during these 8 years now, we did all sorts of types of activities. The main thing was that we should get to know each other. It wasn't a place to have lectures, because that way we don't get to know each other. We just get to know about another something. Or if we did have a lecture, we would bring it back to how does that affect you, or where are you in this situation? So it was always an interpersonal connection. The woman standing there, she's in our group. When I approached her in the beginning, she was one of the initiators, and I came to her with the idea, and I had asked her if she could facilitate, because from the previous meetings, groups, she was in it, and she was a good facilitator. So, and I said, it's not usual that a facilitator should be part of the group, but would you do it anyway? And she said, of course, and she was a member. We were around 30, we had 30 names, maybe 20 women came, but not all the same, and it was a flow, and 50% Arabs, 50% Jews. So that was the setup. I'm trying to answer questions that you might have. And there's another thing that we set up, is that we chose a steering committee. We didn't have we didn't bring it up to the big forum. Rather, I asked I'm sorry. Another initiator, a very important initiator, was a woman, the Arab the woman opposite me, which she, by the way, was the mother of the 60-year-old back in 87. That is, when I started with, or when my daughter met with the group, she met with the group that had Amira's daughter in it, and therefore Amira and I, both of us, created the very first meeting of the Jewish Arab. We called it Mothers, but anybody could be part of it. They didn't have to be mothers, and it didn't have to be connected to the children, the youth that were meeting. So Amira was the opposite. So she and I met, and Shulamit, that's the woman in the blue, if you can see here, and then we asked another Arab woman to come, because we wanted to be equal. So I think this is the Arab woman. Her name is Amira. Also, Amira means princess, and we have a lot of princesses in our group. And later on, we added two other women, a Jewish woman and an Arab woman. So so now we have a steering committee of 3 Jewish women and 3 Arab women, and we meet every other Monday. We usually do it. In the past, we actually met physically, but lately we just do it on Zoom, because it's much easier to coordinate the timing. And we look at what's happening in the group, and what we heard people, women say that they'd like to happen, and we organize it. We look for the person who thought up of the idea, and we ask that woman to, if she would organize it, or if she needs help with it, or will she come to meet with us, a steering committee, so that she can be part of the happening of the program, because it's important that each one feels that she's part of the group, not that it's being led by anyone, but rather, and the steering committee, we keep this the tap on the group. So I looked at a list of the things that we did, and we had a woman. It was around the time last year of elections, for the national elections. So we brought in a woman from the Arab village, who was a very active person that wanted to encourage people to vote, and she talked to us about it. And so we, the Jews, got the feeling of what it's like in what's happening in the Arab villages, and the Arab women got inspired to vote, although I'm sure they did. We created different groups, subgroups, to see what kind of activities they would like, and then from those subgroups they would be leading it. And we had one of the subjects was what are my hobbies, and that group led that. One of the meetings led that. Around Christmas and not Pesach, Hanukkah, we did a party for the holidays of light, and we put the emphasis on light, not on the birth of Jesus, and not on the conquest of the military activities, rather the light, because we like to be thinking of the light opening against the darkness. We went on to feelings. Another meeting was, how do we deal with our feelings? Another meeting was, we got a lecture from one of our members on the art in Judaism, Christianity, and the Islam, and on the same theme. She's an art therapist, and she owned an art gallery, so she's an artist. Then we also, in Tu B'Shvat, which is in February, Arbor Day, is the Jewish Arbor Day, Tu B'Shvat. We did a ceremony with the youth of Kfar Yasif, because that's where we meet, because we wanted to also have this is one of our things, that the circle of our influence will be larger than just the women coming to the meetings, and this was one way to do it. We had International Women's Day experience in our meeting, and last year we did at a person's house, like we're going to be doing tomorrow evening. We're having the meal for the day at the end of the fast on that day. That is, every evening when the sun goes down, the Muslims that are fasting, because this month is Ramadan. So we decided, and many places of such groups do that, not on this specific day, but they pick an evening and they do an inter-religious gathering of breaking the fast together. Last year we did it at someone's house. This year it was no woman. There wasn't a woman that volunteered her house, so we are doing it in where we usually meet. And you'll see a picture of it later. We even on the day of now we're down to May. We talked about the Nakba, which is what happened to the Arabs in 1948, and when the Jews got their independence, and what was the price that they had to pay. And so we talked about it, because in Israel there seems to be shush, don't talk about it. So we said, wait, we've got to talk about it. And we we listened to the stories of the mothers of the women, and people came and they talked about it, and they were very, very strong. We did a tour to one of the villages that was told in 1954 or something, that was in Israel. They were Christian Arabs, that they must leave their village for a week, and they'll be able to come back. And that week is still going on. They haven't gone back, but one of the person who was born there took us back and showed us where they were, and other things we had. And of course, in the end, we always have a kind of a party for ending. So let's see what's next. So this is in 2015. This was one of the activities that we did, because part of the activities that they asked for it, that we should have outings. And so in July, we visited the Church of the Bread and the Fish. I think that it might be a different name in English. I'm not sure. Because it had been a Molotov cocktail was thrown at it in this courtyard by a Jewish right wing, like 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before. We decided we're going to come and identify with the injustice, and we also gathered some donations and gave it to them. And at the same time, because this church is very close to the Kinneret, so this is the second Amira, this one, and she happens to have a neighbor that had a place on the Kinneret. It was closed off with a gate and all. She got the key, and we had our own little beach of having a picnic on the Kinneret, and we had many, many pictures, including, oh, this is not it. Another, on this side, it would be a place where all the food that we brought, but I have pity on you and did not show you all the pictures. And this is what we wrote to them. We gave them a plaque, and it said, the congregation of the church, to the congregation of the Church of the Bread and Fish in Tabacha. We come here today to express the thoughts of our hearts, to say, hate is a terrible enemy for all humanity. It corrupts the fabric of our society. The Na'ima, that's the name of our group, believes in respecting every religion, belief in person in Israel and the whole world. May there be no more cases like this. And we cited the women of Na'ima. And Na'ima means, in Hebrew, it's Arab and Jewish women promoting shutfut, living together. It's not du-kiyum, it's not living side by side, it's living together. So that's the name of the group. We also, we had various places of meetings on the first year, during those years. And this is one of them. This is that art lady, the woman that I said she gave us a talk. So this was a gallery that she owned, and that she presented the place for all sorts of people to present in it. Local Western Galilee, Arabs, Jews, whatever. So we sat all together. He came because the woman, he needed to be close to his wife doing that. So, okay, after the first introduction and all that, we split up into groups. This is one of them. This is another and another. And we talked about, I don't remember what, but something that had to do with who I am and what's happening. I don't remember the subject. And that went on for 8 years. We had our rhythm and we did things, and we were around 30 people, women, but they're not always, they weren't always the same women. And oh, sorry for the noise. My granddaughter is printing something from far away. She doesn't realize it's making noise. So now we come to August 3rd, 2023. We finished our 8th season of Naima Group, and it was our practice since 2015 to take a break from August until after the holidays. עד עד שאני גומרת, אוקיי? תפסיקי. לא. Okay, that's my granddaughter. She's living with me. Thank goodness. And so we're taking a break from August until after the holidays, which is a statement we say in Israel. When are we going to meet after the holidays? Of course, it's Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Shavuot. And our opening session was planned for October 9th, because we always have a day that we were going to. So what happened? First, nice things happened during Shavuot, and one of the big things was that on the 4th of October, Women Wage Peace, which was a group that also started because of the 2014 conflict. However, Women Wage Peace, if you don't know, but even if you do know, I will say it, is a national group. They want to expand more and more. We want to stay intimate in the Western Galilee. Any woman that wants to join us is welcome, but we don't have our thoughts for expansion country-wise, although we would like to help other groups start like us, but it's a chemistry of people who it depends on it. So most of us have joined the Women Wage Peace because it's on the political activist scale, as opposed to we do meeting and talking who we are and what we feel and learning about each other. And so this was a really, I wrote some, there were 2,000 women in this gathering, in this conference, women from Israel, from Women Wage Peace, Women for Palestine, Women of the Sun. That's the name of their group, Women of the Sun. There were women representatives from embassies of various countries, including Embassy of European Union. There were representatives of women's organizations from many countries, including Morocco, and an Iranian woman who is in exile in Paris. The day, it was very, very exciting day. We started out with a bus left from our area, and we filled it up. Many women from Naima Group and other women who are not in Naima but are in Women Wage Peace. And we know each other because we do it all, we always meet. So we met at this area. I don't know if this has a big this is a picture I took and I couldn't get into. So this woman Rima Hajashara is you'll hear about, I'll talk about her a little bit further on. And we were during the ceremony near the Monument of Tolerance in Jerusalem. Everything happened in Jerusalem. And these young women are from Palestine, as Reem was, and they belong to the Women of the Sun group, which its main thing is to help to influence the Palestinian government, for whatever it is, that there should come to create, they should come towards for peace settlement. And they also mainly do empowering of young women, this group, which was wonderful. And then after this, everybody's sitting and having all these wonderful talks, hearing the speeches from the people, we got up and we did a, um, not a walk, but we marched along the promenade of the governor's palace, which in Hebrew is Tayelet, Tayelet, I forget. It's up there, very adjacent, and it's up. You get beautiful view of Jerusalem. It used to be before '67 part of the Jordan area, but so now it's in Israel since 1967, and we were walking for peace, and then we got into buses and we all went down to the Dead Sea, a place in the Dead Sea, and there were speeches into the night declaring our commitment, and the motto of the conference, Israeli and Palestinian mothers changing reality. So we'll look at some pictures that I put up. So this is the monument I was showing you, and this was a theme of the conference. This woman is a Palestinian woman from East Jerusalem. You can see here Reem. This woman is Yael. She is a leading woman in the women wage peace, and these are the representatives that came, women representatives that came from around the world. And over here, where you don't see, of course, are all the rest of the 2,000 women sitting there, including Palestinian women that crossed in the morning from Palestine, which was not an easy thing to do. This is at night in the Dead Sea, and there were big speeches of everything. Everything was in Hebrew and in Arabic, of course. I took these pictures from the video that they did of the whole experience. You can look it up in Facebook under Women Wage Peace and find a documentary of it. And then I saw this, Time magazine announced at a gala the 12 most influential women in the world for 2024. Rim Khajajra, which is this woman, the first one I showed you, from Palestine, of Women of the Sun, and Yael Admi, a PhD, from Israel, of Women Wage Peace. So they gave their talks too, okay? And this is a picture that this is Rim and this is Yael. If we need pictures. Okay, so then came this was October 4th, and we women that were part of it, we were full of ecstasy and hope and happiness, and looking for all the newspaper coverage and the television coverage, and we were in a real ecstasy about it. And 3 days later, we wake up to this awful experience, and how do we, and then and everyone asked, how do we put together pieces after this day, this specific day, this day of massacre? And this is a list of, but before I get to that, oh, yes, I'm sorry. So this is a list of the things that I was talking about, the steering committee, that we met at the steering committee, and we met on Zoom because it was already, we were already getting rockets from Lebanon, the Hezbollah already decided to let us know that they're there. While the rockets in the south came across from Gaza, and while we were rocketing them into oblivion. And so we talked among each other, and first we realized that we must continue meeting, and as soon as possible. Of course, we didn't meet on the 9th of August because, I mean, of October, because it's impossible. You know, we were all shaking and fearful and going, and at night in that first week, I know how I felt, and I'm sure that it's universal in Israel. I locked the doors, I rolled down all the windows, and I was scared, and I thought, what am I going to do if they come in? And, you know, and there was nothing I could really do. So I had my fantasy of being a Joan Baez and offering a tea, if you remember from the 60s when she was asked, what are you going to do when the Chinese come to your front door? And she said, I'll offer them a cup of tea. And that's what I was thinking. And actually, I thought that the evening of October 7th, that was like the evening after this horrible, that we were watching television. I tried not to watch it, but even the little bit I watched was horrible. And the following day on television, they said, yes, it was a woman from Sderot, who was an Arabic speaker because she's from Morocco or some Arab-speaking country, and she had a conversation with him as people and offered him coffee and offered him whatever and water, and she had this conversation, which, you know, so I said, oh, it might even be possible. My trouble was that I don't really speak Arabic. I have enough broken Arabic to talk with my friends they'll correct me after that. But anyway, we said we have to do it. So it took us, we met by Zoom because some of the women were not living in their houses anymore. They had gone further south to away from the northern border, because the Western Galilee starts at the Lebanese border. And so there are the Chanita is a kibbutz, and Rosh Hanikra is a kibbutz there, and Metzuba is a kibbutz, and Shlomi is a town. And we had women from all those areas, and also from Nahariya, and women from Nahariya. So there were women that had left their houses and we could talk only through Zoom. So good, it's good that there's Zoom. So also we need to have outside. Oh, we also said, because we heard the talk from different women. I mean, in my experience, for me, I heard it from Jewish women of their fear and their disappointment and their anger at the Arab women, of not especially of Naima, but in general, the Arabs of Israel, they were disappointed. And the way I heard from what they were saying is that they weren't hearing the woman that was talking to me and several others, they weren't hearing the exact words that they wanted to hear the Arabs say about the 7th of October. But I know from hearing and asking and reading that the Arab community was against the 7th of October, the atrocities of the 7th of October, and talk about it. And they talk about the destruction and the suffering of the victims in Gaza. So they talk about it together, and that sort of mixes up, it seems to mix up the hearing of the Jewish women that needed to hear what they wanted to hear. So we decided that we would not be able to hold the group's pain, we ourselves, like we've done for 8 years. Not that we have pain, but we were dealing in our own facilitation. So we said we must have outside the group facilitators, and they must be women, and it must be an Arab woman and a Jewish woman. And we chose the facilitators from the NVC, Nonviolent Communication System. Maybe because I had joined it half a year earlier and practicing it, and I just saw, and then I was also experiencing it during that time on Zoom for nonviolent communication between Jews and Arabs, and it was very, very strong. And what is it? It's a system of learning to listen to each other and reflect back with empathy, not argue back and not give judgments back, but just give back what you heard. And when a person hears that someone listened to me, when I hear that someone listened to me, it empowers me, it makes me feel better, it calms me down, and then I'm also able to listen to that other person, even if she's saying something other than what I believe in. And therefore, we decided to learn the method and use it. So the first meeting, then we had the first Zoom, and that was, it took us until the 23rd of October to get together, because we finally decided to do it, and we had, this is the Arab facilitator, and this is the Jewish facilitator. And this is the woman that's funding it. She's from Nesamim. There's a Christian community that lives actually adjacent to our kibbutz on land that they bought from Arabs, and they run, not now because most of them left. Oh, they came back recently, but October 7th it was evacuated. There were volunteers from Holland and Germany. They belong to a specific church, and they come help Israel and give atonement to what happened in the World War II in the Holocaust. And that's the basis of it. And so she's a emissary from there, and she has funds. And so I asked her if she can pay for the facilitators, and she said yes, of course. And so she's been doing it. We've been meeting for like 5 times. So this was the first time, and what happened is that they explained to us what goes on, and each time there was somebody talked, like if Yael explained in Hebrew, then Nadia would talk in Arabic. And if someone else talked in Arabic saying what she thought, Yael would translate it into Hebrew. So there was always, after somebody talked, there was a translation, either into Hebrew or into English, Arabic. And therefore everything goes slow, and you can think. You don't, even if you want to answer with a rebuttal or a judgment, you have time to remember, oh, that's not what we do. And you calm down because there's a translation going on in the meantime. And then after 2 times of meeting oh, you can't, I see. 2 times of meeting on Zoom, we decided that no, we're going to meet face to face. And some women had already come back. For instance, women in Nahariya came back because it wasn't so terrible. And so we met in this beautiful, isn't this a beautiful building? This is reconstructed. The owners of this building, this is the bottom, and they live up above in a modern building or whatever, I don't know. But this was their original building on the bottom, and they made it nice. And it's used by different groups. And we got to use this because the place where we used was not available, and I'll tell you later why. And so this is the basis of nonviolent communication. You talk about your feelings, you listen, you do not use judgment, you pay attention to the needs, you give you don't, I don't know if you do interpret or you don't interpret, because you mainly, what was that word? Reformulate. You hear something and you reformulate to him, or her, I should say. So reflection is more correct, not interpretation. And so we were sitting together listening to Nadia and Yael about what it's about, what the system is, because each time not everyone came to every meeting, and then we broke up into because this is the first time we were face to face. So Yael led the Jewish women, and we were talking in Hebrew and sharing our feelings. Some of the women were very upset by the Arab community, and some of the women, myself, one of them, supported them and tried to explain to the women that are upset that they do support us, and they do feel bad for what happened to us. So they also feel bad for what's happening in Gaza. And these are the Arab-speaking women, led by Nadia. And then we got together and we did whatever one does all together. This is a picture I sent you. This is a picture in the when I appear to say that Judy's going to talk. So this is the picture, and next to is a woman that I've met also in the 90s. Her name is Salma, and she's a Muslim, and I know her whole family, and actually her mother last year talked to us about what happened in 1948, because they lived, the mother she was 14 in 1948, and she and her family, her parents and brother and sister and everything they ran away, and she talked about it and all, and yet this woman was raised by her mother and father. Her father is from Kfar Yassif itself, to no, she got to know Jews when she was older. Until then, she had no opinion about them. She didn't know anything about them, and she met good people, I guess, and she's from a family that believes in a person as a person. So I got to know her, and I had good relations with her. I was very happy. This is the Arab village we're in. We're in the old section, as you can see. And I said that we have to have a picture, because I was very excited about this experience, that they came and that we were able to talk, because there was an awful lot of pain among the women, and the Arab women, it turns out, they basically said, we feel that we can't say what our feelings are, because we get punished for it by the I'm trying to so they got a chance to talk, and especially in Arabic, because usually for the 8 years we spoke in Hebrew and they spoke in Hebrew. And if someone couldn't speak in Hebrew, she spoke in Arabic, and then it was translated. But here, every woman, every woman talking, no. Okay, let's see where we get to. This is the second time we met, and now we're meeting Jews and Arabs and talking to each other, and we got a chance to say what's in our heart.
Okay.
So one
Judy?
woman says what's in her heart, and the other woman listens, and then she what was that word? Reformulates to her what she heard. And and
Judy?
she asked, did I hear correctly?
Yeah, it's me, Judy. It's Fran. Can we soon open it up to questions?
Yeah, okay, then I'll go real fast. just
Okay.
to show the pictures. Okay, so we were talking and posing and all. Just giving you a beautiful, it's a beautiful picture. And then we went on to, this is a third session. And this time we did this where they were in the middle listening, and we were all listening to the interaction. And it's being held in the place where we usually meet, which is in the hallway, the place of meeting for in the Christian, in the Greek Orthodox church. And this is their meeting hall, like a reception hall and stuff. And we were given it, we are able to use it every Monday that we meet, unless they have to use it for something. Okay, so then we finally decided to meet on our own, and new people came. And this is another, the Greek Orthodox, the old Greek Orthodox meeting hall, because that one was being used. And we opened up with a ceremony of lighting candles for peace and for those. And then we did gatherings of who are we, and we talked to each other. And then we did that. And this is another group, another meeting back in that hall, back again, because it was available. And it was facilitated by us, because we decided to stop, put on hold facilitation with NVC, because it goes very slow, and women felt frustrated that can't just talk. They're used to it. But however, these same women were not aware of the intensity between that was happening, that could be there. So we did what is Home for Me, and we did it in aquarium type of things, 3 groups, each one talking and the others listening. Okay, and there were other activities throughout the Western Galilee. And in Hanukkah, there were many types of things where they lit candles, and they gave prayers of light will open up the darkness, and hoping. We went to the Baha'i opened up their compound in Akko, and we did a circle of peace, and everybody brought prayers of sorts, whatever poems or whatever they want, or even talk. And we did that. This is first I couldn't take pictures of we're sitting around. And even in the same building where we meet, this was a workshop by this woman from America or England, I don't know, and it was for to bring to enable people, the women, was for women, to say what's in their heart and to let out the emotions. So it was different type of things, and this is an activity that we do now on my kibbutz is up this road up here, and this is on the main road. It's a circle, a traffic circle, and we on the Shabbat at 4:30 we go down, and people come to hear these women. This is a Naima women, and she's from another kibbutz. She's from a town. She's from another town. She's from our kibbutz. This is me, and this belongs to Fran and Alan. This is Danny Bennett, and we demonstrate to bring them home. Okay, now I shall stop sharing, and we are here. I will answer your questions.
Great. So
If you have any.
Yeah, Susan had some questions in the chat, or have they all been answered? Yes.
No, I didn't. Actually, Susan had one. Did you talk? I may have not heard. Did you talk about the captives?
The what?
The captives, the captives.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right at the end,
Yeah.
Judy.
Okay.
I was in the other room.
But
Yeah.
tell us more about that, Judy.
Ask me the question that you want to know more about. You know that there
Well,
were
Okay,
I'll tell you, as of today, it's 174 days. And I think there are 134 captives in Gaza. Some of them are not alive, but we don't know. But we
we've
assume.
heard that 30 are dead. So why are they holding bodies?
I mean,
I can't answer. It's true, there are lots of questions that could be asked, but my presentation here is how I dealt with it, what my world is, and I will say that I make sure that I surrounded myself with people and things that talk my talk and look at life my way. I look at the news maybe 5 minutes every other day or something. Just of course, I have it in my cell phone, so I read what's happening, but and then I go on and I look for the good things that talk to me, because it makes me feel better. I have every time I share my being in a Jewish Arab women's group. So the person opposite me, who is usually Jewish, says, an Israeli Jew, would say, well, what do the Arabs think? So it's like I'm not a spokesperson for the Arab, but the women that are in our group, they expressed, and the other places that I've been part of, like in that workshop of the women, and we just saw them all lying down, my feet were someplace there. One of the women said, I hear, I don't have this. This is an Arab woman, an Israeli Arab woman saying, I don't have the strength to hold them, the Jews. This is what they ask of me and of all the Arabs. And we are worrying about our situation of our own strength and the danger that is happening to us here in Israel and in our security. Meaning the Jews, the Israeli Jews, are expecting the Arabs to, calm them down, hold them up, make sure that you're okay, Jews, and she's saying, leave us alone. We're dealing with our own difficulties that they can't express themselves openly if they see the sadness of what's happening in Gaza. If they say it, if they connect with the suffering of the people, they're accused of supporting Hamas. So they can't even say that, even though they have all the they see it on the television. It's true that their television, the Al Jazeera, is as tainted as we are, on their side and our side. But they saw the atrocities that were happening to the people. The army is fighting a war. War is not good. We should not have war. But there is suffering that should be, or some people want to talk about it, and so they should be able to talk about it. The others, they can't talk about it because it makes them
Great.
insecure or something. I don't know. So they don't. But I would like to share my initial on the Saturday morning when I opened up and saw the atrocities. My thought I was crying inside, and I said, this is not that I know that Israel is going to react, and it's going to react in terrible force. I knew it, and there was no other way for it to react at that moment. But I said, but the only way we will be able to stop the cycle of blood and violence is if we get to a diplomatic understanding I'm afraid to use the word peace because it seems too big of a word, but diplomatic understanding of how to live together and the compromises between the two or the three sides so that we can live together in a peaceful way. Alan had sent me some forgot the word of what I just did, but a PowerPoint about what is for to get to peace and what is needed to be, and it's very good, and I'm hoping to. I'm translating it. It's in English. I'm translating it to Hebrew and into Arabic. I'm not translating to Arabic, but so that we can have a discussion of that, of those steps of how to come to understanding and compromises to peace. Because whenever in our group we talk about peace, it's always in an idealistic, unrealistic way. It's like an ideal, oh, we'd like to be peace and this and that. And I say, okay, great. Now, I like that presentation that Alan sent me, it gave me, for me, I really liked it because it gave material to talk about if we present it, and then we can all react to what is being said. So that will be after these holidays. We're now in holidays of Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr and Pascha and Pesach and Pascha again. So
Yeah,
and then after those holidays, and also we have Yom Ha'atzmaut, Independence Day, and before that we have the Holocaust Day, and we have lots of very sad days, and then and before we have Shavuot, we'll have time to gather, and I'm hoping we'll be doing it, and then after Shavuot they also have their some name of a Shavuot of theirs, and then we continue to meet. Any questions?
The guy, by the way, the slides came from a man who was the assistant director of an institute at Stanford that was a primary negotiator in the Northern Ireland, and British negotiations. I'll send anybody who wants the slides. The situation was although difficult, the situation was in many ways an easier one. You guys are more complex.
Okay, but he had
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it was very good.
he had steps, and then
Absolutely.
the reality of each place. But at least if we have to compromise, we have to figure out, we have to listen to the other person.
Yep.
And this is where nonviolent communication comes in handy. If we are able to use it between ourselves as people, maybe the diplomats will learn to be able to listen and listen what are the needs of the other, and then also the other will listen to what the needs of each one will listen to what the needs are, and then you can see what can we give up, what do we have to insist on.
Sure.
In whatever. Dan?
Judy, thank you for this. I belong to a lot of Irish groups and on Facebook because I'm in the Irish music community for some reason. And it's about 90%, 95% Palestinian, pro-Palestinian, about 5%. What are you crazy? And I'm right in the middle with you, right with you. I really believe that peace is the only way we're going to get through this. It's the only way ultimately they can. But I hear what you say about watching 5 minutes of news, and that's about all you can take every few days. I used to be a news junkie, and it's difficult. It's difficult to watch the news. I just don't. But I'm curious though. You're there, and I'm wondering if you've got any kind of finger on the pulse, like in terms of, is what you're doing scalable? I see these small groups, and that's wonderful, and it's idealistic. We're idealists, but do you think it's scalable? Is what you're doing, do you feel like that is something that can be applied to the larger, Klal Yisrael, or is that a dream that's not going to happen for a long time, if ever.
Great question. As I said, I put myself in the area where I feel comfortable. So I feel like everybody's there, but I look a little bit over and I say, oh my God, we're so little and they're so big. And I'm
Even in
talking
your
to
own,
Jews.
even in your own family, right? Right.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
In my family, I do have a family that lives in the occupied territory, so we don't talk about that. But that's a family of like nieces and nephews and sister-in-law. So it's true, but it's not a Bennett family, it's a Kelman family. Okay, you're right. Okay, how if I look like that question doesn't pertain to our group because we're not, as I said, we're not looking to get more and more, although of course we would like many groups like us to be around, and there are, because there are people, especially in the Galil, where there's a lot of Jews and Arabs living together, where there's even a group that's called We Stand Together. And of course, I belong to it, but I'm not an active person in it. But and I'm very happy to see a lot of young people being active in these.
And I heard them here in San Francisco, just so you know.
Omdim biyachad, standing together.
They
Yeah.
came up here.
Yeah, they're great, and there are a lot of little things that are small, I think. There's a group that wants to be a political running for the Knesset that it says, I might be wrong, but it might be one state and two homelands, and it's some kind of a confederation or something, and there are others that just say, equality as we are, where we are, not let's have peace. Did I answer?
Rona?
One more thing, Rona, one more thing. Unfortunately, the majority is still a warmongering, they can't see beyond that. But I think slowly, very slowly, things are happening. Also, we have this complication with Haredim that are getting money and they do not join in the effort to support the fighting. Not that I'm for fighting, but I mean, that's
They
part
make
of
decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
They influence the decisions, but they
Oh,
don't
wow.
participate.
And they get billions of money from that we pay taxes of, and it doesn't go to the army and other places.
Ronit.
Rana.
I wanted to clarify, just because I wanted to clarify. So when you speak to these Arab women, they cannot say anything against Hamas. They cannot say anything. I know someone asked you before, and I didn't quite get it. They cannot say anything against Hamas?
I didn't say that.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. So
No, they can't say anything according to the Jewish government and public, anything that not supports, but recognizes the devastation that's happening in Gaza. That's what they can't.
the
They
Arab
can't.
women can't say that.
The Arabs in Israel.
In Israel can't say anything against the devastation in Gaza. And
Yeah.
and maybe I'm sorry if you said it already, but did the Arab women, were they very upset about what happened on October 7th?
They were very upset and still are very upset of what happened on October 7th. And very upset about the hostages.
Uh-huh.
They might be upset about other things too. What's happening to the Gazan people. But that they're not allowed to say it.
And Israelis are not allowed to say either what is upset.
I read recently that a Jewish teacher was fired because of things he wrote in his Facebook, but I don't know what he wrote, but probably I don't know what he wrote. He didn't toe the line, and the parents wanted him to toe the line of
Are you
what's
talking
of
in Israel or here?
Israel. We're only talking about Israel.
Well, I thought it's a democracy. We could say there, they could say what you want. Here, you're shushed if you have a certain view, but I'm just wondering. Okay.
And because I think we're in a very intense time of war. We're fighting. Don't know. We're doing things in Gaza, and there is resistance in Gaza. The people that we're trying to capture or decimate are still alive, and are shooting back and setting up traps, and our people, our men, get killed. So we're at war, and so the attitude of the general population is, there's only one right here.
I understand. And the other thing you were saying is that you hope there would be peace, and you hope there would be peace and the diplomats. But if Hamas, which is supported by Iran, and if they're saying, from the Jordan to the sea, kill them all, the Jews, then sometimes I think, how can there be peace when all Hamas wants to do is kill the Jews in Israel? And of course, the United States is next. Not of course, but
No, yeah, you're right. By the way, they're the extremist Israelis, Jews, that say from the Jordan to the sea, kill all the Arabs. So those two groups will not be able to deal with each other. But as I said, coming to a diplomatic understanding is not something that is a casual talk, especially the slides that Alan sent. You have to sit, and it has to be a serious discussions, and reaching out, and listening to the other, and at this, I would like to say, and there's no backing, I can't be sure, but I'd like to say, at this point in time in history, the Hamas is what it is. Maybe under different conditions, it would be able to, I don't know, after Israel finishes whatever it's doing, maybe it'll be a different Hamas, or maybe there won't be a Hamas. But for me, I can't relate to, but the Hamas doesn't like us as when I think about peace. I can't relate to that, because that's how peace will be done. By somebody will come to us and say, okay, I want peace. No, we've always had to go there, and we always had to, Jordan did that, Egypt. But there has to be a lot of effort on our part to make the right conditions, and it may not be Hamas. They have to look at everything, and I don't know what the answer is. I'm not there, but I can add my energy and thought in the direction of there should be an understanding and the ceasefire, and stopping the cycle of killing each other, of terror on either side, stopping it, and finding out how to do it where it will be good for both sides, or three sides, because there's Gaza and there's a Palestinian, so might be, I don't know how it works together. I'm not there. But thank you, Rana. Any other questions?
Do you think that Israel is responsible for eliminating Hamas? Do you support that?
Do I support that Israel get rid of Hamas?
Yes,
Militarily?
yes.
Uh, and you think it's possible?
Actually, I don't, but that's the premise that everything's being operated on. So I'm very skeptical personally. I think
Yeah.
it's mission impossible.
Yeah,
But I'm just curious because some of my people that I talk to that are not Jewish, so they don't have the same feeling. I mean, you're Israeli, I'm not, but I'm Jewish and I'm very strongly identified as Jewish. And there's anti-Semitism here is through the ceiling. It's ridiculous. It's so rampant. So people who I feel reasonably, I can talk to who don't have, as they say, a dog in the fight, say Israel must eliminate Hamas. I think personally, I'm naive. I think that's A, impossible, and B, unfair. Why is that Israel's job? Because only Israel is threatened by Hamas? I think the whole world is threatened by what Hamas appears to have done.
yeah, you're right. Right, it's not, but there's also another part. The person that's saying gotta get rid of the Hamas is Bibi Netanyahu, who is interested that we stay in this conflict because it keeps him away from this trial. He and Trump, they must talk to each other. Because he's also being indicted for many things. And this is helping him get away from it. So I'm hoping that life is a bit more complicated than, it's just like we got rid of the Viet Cong, right? America. And, that's what in Vietnam they wanted to do with force, get rid of it. So I don't think it's possible to do that, but I don't have an opinion about that. I cannot even relate to it because I'm just waiting to see what will happen.
I could go on and on, but this is not fair. I just am so glad to meet you, Judy. And I will be in Israel in 3 weeks. And if Fran can help us facilitate being in the same place at the same time.
Sure.
I have
You're welcome.
so much admiration for what you've done. I can't say this without getting a little teary-eyed because what you're doing is amazing. And I have friends that knew Vivian Silver. I'm sure you know who that was.
Yes, of course. I know her.
and
Yes.
It's I don't want to be Pollyanna. So if we talk, I'm going to be like an Israeli. I'm going to say it like I think it, and you're going to say it back like an Israeli, and I'm going to say it back like an Israeli. So I hope we can meet in person. It would be really
Yes, that'll be great. As my
very
Arab
impressed.
friends say, ahlan wa sahlan. You're welcome. Anytime. Fran,
Yeah.
facilitate.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Judy. Really, it was wonderful.
Did I come through, Fran?
Yeah,
Hey,
you
well,
did.
I wanted to interject, Susan. I seem to remember Fran told me you were involved in agricultural inspection at some point. Is that right? Is that what I remember? Susan?
Alan, what did you
Yes,
say?
I was in charge of the agriculture department of Solano County for 16
Yeah,
years.
right, so-
Or that 10 years in Salinas.
He
I have a
puts-
lot of agriculture background.
Yeah, kibbutz people beware of her. She comes in. and speaks with-
I'm not a regulator anymore. I love agriculture.
They're
We like
barking
regulators.
potato.
It's Davina. Judy, hi. It's Davina.
Hi.
It was really fun hearing about it. And I think what you have said about listening is sort of the most important thing because we all listen only with half our body and hearing and mind. And we're thinking about how to answer. What you're doing in learning to listen is a very difficult task. And I appreciate that part of it. Thank you. And it was fun to see you.
Yes.
Okay.
What?
So anything else that somebody would like to ask or discuss? Okay. It worked, Judy. It was wonderful.
I sent you the list, Fran, of everyone who signed up, so you can send them a follow-up in the recording if you wish to.
Okay.
got it from
Boss
Hazel.
just-
when
I
I
think the
sent it to
boss
you.
just told you to send a follow-up and the recording. How's that?
I'm not the boss. I'm just making a suggestion. You can, what I do is I don't send people recordings. I ask them if they want it.
Yeah.
And I wait for them to ask because,
How big is the file? Can you send it by mail or do you have to
I
put it
did.
on the
I
drive?
sent it by email. It's not that big.
Okay,
It's just an email.
How do you stop the recording?
yeah.
Go, that's on the
Susan,
top.
you muted yourself. Susan, you're muted.
Susan, you're muted. How does she stop? the-
Oh.
I can do that. Hold on a minute. I'm the
Oh.
host. Somehow I got all mixed up about who's the host and all that. So
All
let's
right,
see.
I'm
Here's-
getting off.
Lovely
Judy,
to
thanks a
see you,
lot.
Judy. Say hi to my brother.
Okay.
Who